All right, today we're talking about getting X-ray vision for your company. Seriously, we're going to look at a new way to see what's actually happening inside our organizations, to get past the guesses and see how work really gets done.
But let's start with a feeling we all know. You know the one. The endless meetings, the approvals that just disappear into the void, that feeling deep down that everything is just harder than it needs to be. Well, it's not just in your head. That frustration is real, and it's costing us. And here's the crazy paradox. Companies are absolutely brilliant at listening to their customers. We track every click, every purchase, every single complaint. But when we turn that listening inward, it's like we're functionally deaf. We see the symptoms, sure. A project is late, but we have no idea what's actually causing the fever. And that's really the big idea here. Think of it like this. Customer feedback is a mirror. It shows you the symptom on the surface. But enterprise listening, that's the X-ray. It goes deeper. It lets you see the actual fracture in the system that's causing all the pain. So let's dive into this internal blind spot. Let's talk about the hidden tax that we are all paying every single day just because of complexity.
And this friction, it's not some small annoyance. It has real, tangible costs. You've got decision latency. That's all the time we waste just figuring out who's allowed to make a decision. Then there's meeting overload, which is usually just a symptom of a broken process. You've got execution drag, which is the massive, massive cost of having to redo work. And finally, the big one, burnout. That's the human price we pay for making good people fight a bad system. So how do we build this X-ray? How do we see what's going on? Well, it all starts with a really important idea. We have to listen to the work, not the workers. And that's what enterprise listening is. It's a diagnostic tool. It looks at the digital breadcrumbs our work already leaves behind in all our systems, Salesforce, Jira, ServiceNow, and it analyzes that data, completely anonymously, to map out how work really moves through the company. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Is this Big Brother? And the answer is a hard no. The entire point is to fix the system, not to police the people. It is 100% about diagnosing broken processes, not watching individuals. And this isn't just a promise. It's baked in with unbreakable rules. The data is always, always anonymous and aggregated. It can never be used for performance reviews or anything like that, period. And to make sure, there's a governance council with employees on it that has veto power. If the rules are broken, they can shut it down. Trust is everything here. Okay, so with those trust rules in place, what does the X-ray actually show us? Well, what's fascinating is that no matter the company, no matter the industry, it almost always reveals the same three universal truths. The first big aha moment is about waiting. We have this illusion that if something is taking too long, it's because the team is slow. But the reality that data shows us, it's not the people who are slow. It's the work that's slow. It's just sitting there, stuck in a line. And the numbers here are just staggering. When you look at the total time it takes to get something done, about 80% of that time is what we call dwell time. That means the work is literally just sitting there, waiting for an approval, waiting for data, whatever. Only 20% of the time is actual processing time, where someone is actively working on it. 80% is just waiting. So this completely flips the script. Time isn't lost because people are lazy. It's lost because of the friction and inertia that we've built into our own organizations. Okay, truth number 2, the loop. We all know this one. The illusion is that when work has to be redone, it's because someone messed up, an employee made a mistake. But the reality, it's almost always a broken handoff between two teams. The information isn't clear, the requirements are fuzzy, and so work just gets bounced back and forth, over and over again. And the scale of this is just wild. In a lot of core processes, up to 40% of all the effort, all the work hours, is just rework. Think about that. Nearly half our time can be spent fixing things that we thought were already done. It's an enormous, invisible drain on everybody. And the final truth, this one's a little tricky because it's about the person we all think of as the hero. That one indispensable person who's in every meeting and has to sign off on everything. The illusion is that they're a star performer, but the reality is that they've become a knowledge broker, a human bottleneck that the entire system now depends on. So this person isn't a hero we should celebrate. They're actually a single point of failure for the whole company. The organization can only move as fast as that one person's calendar allows. The solution isn't to reward them. It's to get that knowledge out of their head and build it into the system.
So once the X-ray shows us all this, the waiting, the loops, the bottlenecks, how do we actually fix it? Well, it takes a really important cultural shift. We have to move from a culture of blame to a culture of design. And here's what that actually sounds like. The old conversation, the blame one, is who dropped the ball? We need more accountability. The new conversation, the design one, sounds like this. Hey, the data shows a huge bottleneck right here at this step. How can we, together, redesign this process so that the bottleneck disappears? See the difference? It's not about who, it's about what. And this gives you a clear path forward. First, you quantify the problem. How many hours is this actually costing us? Then you find the root cause. Is it a tech problem, a bad process, a confusing policy? And finally, you prioritize the fixes. You tackle the things that are causing the most pain first. Eventually, you can boil all of this down into a single, powerful number, a friction score. It's like a health score for your process. And that number becomes your North Star, an objective way to see if the changes you're making are actually making things better. Now, this is all great for fixing today's problems, but this is really about building a completely new kind of company for the future. Because this kind of objective, real-time data on how work actually happens, this is the foundational layer that's going to power everything that comes next. It's what will allow AI and automation to not just do tasks, but to actually understand, diagnose, and even fix the processes they're part of. So, I'll leave you with this question. What becomes possible when our companies are no longer flying blind? What if, instead of relying on guesswork and heroes, your organization could actually learn to see its own problems and heal itself?